Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew D. It's me once again. Welcome back to the movie review, aka after I saw this time is going to be on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Now, this is the return of the Spagler family, Spagler or Spangler family from Afterlife, as they continue on being the new Ghostbusters and they have to face on a new threat, an orb that has this frozen, ghost-like creature, and when that orb is unleashed, of course, that frozen ghost thing comes out to the world and becomes a threat, and the Ghostbusters have to take it down. Now, I enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. I didn't think it was phenomenal, but I mean, I do get why some people didn't like the movie because it was mostly there for nostalgia bait, especially during the last act. But I had fun watching that movie. I felt like if it was its own thing or a one-time thing, then yeah, sure, it would have been fine. And I think we can all agree that the original Ghostbusters is by far the best one, though I did like the movies that came after that. Yes, that includes the 2016 movie. You can call me stupid for liking that movie all you want. I mean, I don't think it's a great movie, but I mean, I've seen far worse things. Like people treat that movie like it's the worst thing Hollywood has ever put out, but I have seen far worse movies. And for what it was, I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it, so I don't know, but I don't remember hating that. I wanted to hate it, but I didn't hate it. And if I'm being honest here, I kind of think that movie's better than this one. I've been enjoying these movies, even though they definitely don't live up to the classic 1984 original, but I've been enjoying them for, the fun that they managed to put out. Here, there isn't a whole lot of fun to be had. In fact, the first act, now look, the first 10 minutes to the first act, they were fun. But when it cuts to that, after those 10 minutes, it honestly felt like a slow tween comedy film. Or like a tween, sitcom or something, and it just throws a bunch of, comedic dialogue in your face. Though it just, with the pacing, it's very bland. And it just feels like it goes on for way too long when it really should be going into the ghost busting. Like, I feel like if they're gonna make a new installment, they should have some ideas of what exactly they could do to try to amp this one up a little bit rather than just nostalgia bait, because there is a lot more of that. Of course, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, they do appear in the movie, but it mostly focuses on the Spagler family, and it focuses a lot on Phoebe, the main girl of the movie, as it focuses on her when she meets up with this female ghost who has sort of a purpose to the movie, but I felt like if they took that out, it wouldn't really ruin that much, because sometimes in the movie they put in a bunch of other different plot lines. There are often times where it focuses on a new character played by Kumail Nanjiani. I thought he was funny in the movie. Like I honestly enjoy when Kumail Nanjiani makes appearances in movies. I mean, I think by far his best role was in The Big Sick, but when I see him on screen, I enjoy seeing him on screen. I really like the guy, and apparently he has a purpose, as he's like some sort of fire master or something that can take on this frozen lord or something. Yeah, but really though, it doesn't really get to the frozen empire bit until like the last act of the movie. And throughout a lot of the movie, it just felt painfully slow. Look, the new characters, they're fine, but in terms of, the new Ghostbusters, you cannot beat the old ones. I mean, sure, they have appearances, but they don't show up as often. And sure, they're mostly there for nostalgia, but they were part of the franchise, so I didn't really see it much as nostalgia bait, other than a few lines that were repeated in the last movie. But oftentimes, despite this film being a comedy, I feel like this movie just goes far too serious. Like there are often times where it starts going a little deeper, and sometimes in a more depressing sort of mood. Well, not really sad, just not as fun as I would want it to be. Like, sometimes there are moments of drama in the film, and it didn't really work all that much, especially during, the family when, Phoebe feels like she doesn't fit in as much, because she's the youngest of the Ghostbusters, and that didn't really need to be a thing. Like, when it comes to the ghost busting, yeah, it can be fun. The elements of comedy and horror, they mix pretty well when it's on screen. But like I said before, the first act, it's painfully slow. And when it comes to the dialogue, I wouldn't necessarily say it's cringy, it's just not super well written. There are elements to the movie that I do feel like could have worked a little bit better, like the ghost girl that is apparently a friend in the movie. She does have a plot. I mean, I know earlier I said if you took her out, it wouldn't change the movie at all, but because she has a purpose, I mean, look, all I'm really saying is there are elements to this movie that could have worked a little bit better if handled a bit better. But I felt like the movie just gets too serious in certain parts, and I mean, sure, you can have serious moments as long as they have a purpose and don't really take away from the fun. But because there isn't as much of it in this movie, I just felt like there are just elements that just I don't really know how to put it. Like, I didn't expect this movie to be amazing or anything like that. I just I just wanted to have some more ghost busting fun because I had that with the last movie, but I didn't really get that much here. It just has me thinking, like, why did we need a sequel to Afterlife? Shouldn't it have just been this one thing? But no. Because Jurassic World became a franchise, this has to become a franchise too. But that has me worried because when it comes to the Jurassic World movies, I like the first one, second movie, last movie, nah, not the last movie. But hey, they're doing a fourth movie, and you can't stop them from doing that, so it just begs the question, are they gonna make this a trilogy? Because it just has me worried, because I enjoyed the movies before this one, but in the end, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire really did not it didn't need to be a thing. Like, sure, you got the director of Monster House behind it, and Monster House had a really good blend of horror and comedy, but also being family friendly. But this movie, when it comes to its humor, it doesn't work as well as it should. The first act, it's way too slow and sometimes gets way too serious in certain parts. And sure, some of the ghost busting can be fun, and some of the new characters I did kind of like. I liked Kumail Nanjiani, and the Ghost Girl, she could have been more interesting if she had more screen time, but I didn't really feel like her connection with, the friendship that she's having with Phoebe, it didn't really work a whole lot. And, so yeah, I do think it's the worst out of the Ghostbusters movies, but it's not flat out terrible. Like, I just, I, I was just wondering why this needed to be a thing. I mean, it is a thing now, and by the end of it, it's a call that I wouldn't mind missing. The last act was definitely the best part, in my opinion, but just when it wasn't entirely worth it in the end. But hey, there are elements to this movie that can be enjoyable, no doubt about it. And it, it it's just this didn't need to be a franchise of its own, and no doubt in my mind that it's gonna make money. If it makes enough, we're gonna do the third one. So yippee! But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.